So Adam Schiff told the Intel Committee when they were in the secure room known as the Schiff that he had obtained phone records from AT&T of certain American citizens, including Lev Parnas, Rudy Giuliani, and also Representative Devin Nunes was in that group of numbers. But they were not allowed to discuss it because it was revealed to them when they were inside the room that only allows classified information to be discussed. So now the story is out. And many, including Senator Rand Paul, have expressed outrage. The Kentucky senator accusing Intel Chair Schiff of spying on Devin Nunes and says that that would be an abuse of power. But there was some glee over the situation in some corners of cable news. Watch this reaction.
Nunes has probably had and deserves about the worst 24 hours of his life. I mean, he has been completely caught up on the phone directory here. What is he doing talking to all these people, associates, henchmen of Rudy Giuliani? I mean, it's like picking up a rock, as I said, and seeing the bug life under the rock. All these people working together. I mean, Nunes and Giuliani and John Solomon of the Hill and all this working together in one big network, one big syndicate, you might say.
Strong words. Joining me now, Devin Nunes, ranking member of the House Intel Committee. You've been accused of a lot of things lately, Representative Nunes. These phone calls, trips to Vienna that you say that you can substantiate that you were not there, correct? So what's your reaction? What's your response to Chris Matthews and what he said about you?
Well, I'm a little disappointed because just a few months ago, I saw Chris Matthews in the Longworth building. It was late at night. I think he was there for some type of meeting or reception, and he couldn't get out. He was locked out. And so I actually helped him, walked him out, got him to the door. So I'm a little disappointed that he thinks so lowly of me. But look, for 3 years, we've been slowly unraveling what the Democrats and the left and most of the people in the media, they started with the Russia hoax. Now they moved to the Ukraine hoax / impeachment hoax. And we've been very effective at outing them on things like they're the ones that paid for the dossier that ended up in the hands of the FBI. We'll find more about that next week when the Horowitz report comes out.
We're going to talk about more of that coming up. But I just want to stick with this issue right now with regard to these phone calls. Because I remember back after 9/11, the collection of metadata was a very volatile subject. And in fact, Adam Schiff was among those who was very disturbed that terrorists who may have conversations that come into this country that overlap with those calls of American citizens and that those numbers would be picked up was a huge breach of privacy. So now I'm wondering how, if that's true, if those privacy concerns are so prevalent between terrorists and potentially between some American citizens, why did he think that it was okay in this regard to dig into your phone calls and Rudy Giuliani's phone calls and American citizen Lev Parnas' phone calls?
Well, it's a very good question, and we've worked hard to try to protect people's civil liberties. And at one time, the Democrats actually mostly opposed these, along with libertarians in the Republican Party. They opposed these programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fact that he would actually get these phone calls, and then, you know, look, I don't know how he even has my number. And look, we also have to remember, we don't even know most of these numbers because what he's ascribing these numbers to are not the case. So I still have to even go back through my phone records to see if he's even telling the truth. But the fact of the matter is this: Rudy Giuliani knows a lot of members of Congress. And I can guarantee you there are many members of Congress, like myself, that spoke to Rudy Giuliani more than just a few times. Okay, so because he's friends with him and I've known Rudy Giuliani for over a decade.
Just to clear the air, because I want to hear, you know, what did you discuss with Lev Parnas?
Well, I don't even know because I've never met Parnas, and like I filed in federal court. And so, you know, it's a great question because many people want to know, including myself. So, you know,
so you never had any phone conversation with him?
We have not been able to confirm that yet.
You don't think you would remember if you had a conversation?
You have to remember, we are the House Intelligence Committee Oversight Committee, okay? So we get calls from people every day, all walks of life. I get them from all over the world, allies and people that aren't our allies. In this case, I just don't know.
Now, were these
I have to get my phone records.
Cell phones or from your office phone?
Well, we don't even know that. We don't even know that.
So you didn't have an opportunity to look at the phone numbers that are on there at all?
We're sitting with thousands of pages of metadata, okay, of numbers. So somehow they went through there and found my cell number a few times, And what's even worse is that they selectively used my numbers in order to build on their conspiracy theory that somehow myself and my 2 staffers, former staffer, 1 current staffer, that they don't like because we embarrassed them with the Russia hoax. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's about retribution, okay, for what we've done to them the last 3 years, because they don't like that we outed them with their Russia hoax and now their Ukraine hoax. That's what this is about. So we can't trust, I'm not going to trust anything that Adam Schiff has to say till we actually go through thousands of pages
on that note, there's an
metadata.
interesting story that came out tonight from the Wall Street Journal, because one of the big headlines was that there was a phone call to the OMB, Rudy Giuliani to OMB office, the Office of Management and Budget, which obviously is very relevant here because that would be the office that could have perhaps been involved in the withholding of aid. So that got a lot of attention. But tonight, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that it is actually not possible to identify whether or not that call went to OMB because it was like a grouped call number that could have gone to a number of places in the White House. What do you say to that?
Well, that's really my point, is you can't trust anything this guy says. The reason he used my numbers and my staff's numbers is to say that we had something to do with Yovanovitch being fired. Look, no offense, but I didn't even know who the hell Yovanovitch was until the last couple months.
No, I hear.
So
I hear what you're saying.
Wasn't involved in some
I know
grand
that you're pressing
conspiracy.
charges against CNN. Would you say that Adam Schiff, as Senator Rand Paul said, is guilty or perhaps should be considered for abuse of power in this case for doing this?
Very good question. So first of all, as it relates to CNN, Vienna, I wasn't in Vienna. I was in Benghazi. Okay, and I was in Malta picking up the remains of a World War II troop and having a ceremony so that he could get back to his family and be buried here in the United States. That's how sick these people are. So we're going to look at all legal options over the next coming weeks and months, because clearly my civil rights, civil liberties were violated. Clearly John Solomon's were, a reporter. And another good point, Martha, I bet there's a lot of reporters at Fox that Rudy Giuliani spoke to that Adam Schiff, at any given time, he could release that at an opportune time if somebody writes a story that somebody at Fox or any other network comes out with, because he's sitting on all those numbers.
Well,
phone calls.
you know, a lot of people talk to a lot of people to book them and to have stories and all of that. So I'm sure you're right about that. I think it's going to be the specific connections. But they can't, you know, if you can't get the transcript of the call, it really makes it very difficult to figure out where it would go at this point anyway. But anyway, Representative Nunes, thank you. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.